Are you broken? I know how you feel. I've been there more than once in my life. Do you feel like you just don't know what you're going to do? How you're going to press on? What's the point? What are you even going to do to make it any better? It just drags on day after day. You can't sleep at night. You can't eat. Yes, these are the symptoms of a heartbreak. Usually it's when you break up with someone that you really loved, or you thought you loved anyway. And it doesn't seem to go away. It's an actual physical pain. Maybe you have that sick feeling in your stomach. You're stressed out because you haven't been sleeping, and all you can think about is that ex-girlfriend who used to not be an ex-girlfriend. Well, I can tell you from experience the pain will subside. You will survive. And the most important thing you can do now is to look within yourself. That is going to be the most difficult thing because you want to point the finger. Excuse me. You want to think, or you do think, that if she just came back to you, or if things would just have worked out, then you would be okay. But stop and think about that. You need her to be okay. You need everything to work out right for your life to be okay. Think about how ludicrous that is, how ridiculous that is. And I've been there, so I'm not condemning you for that. I've felt that way myself. More than once in my life. It usually stemmed from me becoming too, dependent on the relationship, or even addicted to the relationship, you could say. Not realizing it until the relationship was taken away, or in my case, I walked away because I felt I was being disrespected. No, I was being disrespected. Whether she dumped you, you dumped her, it doesn't make a lot of difference. It still hurts. Either way. Sometimes more than other times. It's usually not quite as bad if you're the one that made the decision to walk away. Although many times when you walk away because she's disrespecting you or she cheated on you, she's just making it to the point for you that you will leave her because she does not want to take responsibility for breaking up with you. At least that's what's happened in my case many times. And then, if you do walk away with your balls in your hand, 9 times out of 10, she's going to come back. And you want her to come back too. But I'm going to tell you this, if you work on yourself and improve yourself, when she does come back, and she will, you won't want her back for anything more than to have sex with her maybe. Because you've grown and you've changed and you've become a better man. Out of the ashes of despair, you have become strong. You have become what you came here to this world to be. And she was just a part of the play that you are creating to get you to where you want to go. She played a very important part. Because without adversity, without challenge, without despair, without disillusionment, you would have never searched for answers as fervently as you would, or as you did, unless you had that pain. We go to great lengths to escape pain. Emotional pain, physical pain. This pain is what motivates us not to do something again or to learn about what we did that causes the pain so we are sure that we won't make the same mistakes again. If you touch the fire on a hot stove, it hurts. So in the same way, you've touched fire emotionally and it hurts. The emotional pain sometimes can be more devastating than physical pain. I've often said I would rather take a beating in the ring, maybe every day, than go through some of the emotional pain I experienced when I was divorced or when my kids were taken away from me unjustly. Didn't know if I was ever going to get to see them again. And my last marriage, when I broke up with her, it was like the death of a dream. The dream I had of a family, which included a wife and my children. Very difficult time of disillusionment. My purpose, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had left her and my 6 kids in a foreign country out of necessity. Wasn't sure if I would ever see them again. Well, when I was there, she wasn't letting me see them anyway. So yes, it was a very down time for me. So I know how you're feeling if you are broken, but you can become unbroken. You can survive this and come out on the other side being grateful that it happened to you. I'm not sure what your situation is. Maybe you were dating a girl, the love of your life, and she cheated on you with your best friend, or maybe you just thought you wanted something different, or you needed to explore or go out with other girls. I've experienced that also. It still hurts. I dated my first girlfriend for about 5 years, and I broke up with her when I was 21 because I wanted to date other girls. She was a good girl. Low body count, I think 1 guy before me. That was back in the day when that wasn't as hard to find as it is now. And the next guy she went to, she married that guy. I've seen her since, and I still think very highly of her. She was willing to let me go. And you have to be willing to let go whoever it is you're hanging on to after you broke up with them. And it's a process. It takes time. I don't really agree with the idea that you need to go out and jump in bed with someone else right away. I think this is a time for you to look within, some time for introspection, for inventory. First, to find out how you got to the point where you and your girlfriend or your wife broke up. How did it get to that point? What part did you play in it? If she was disrespecting you, if she cheated on you, quit looking at what she did to you and ask yourself, how did it get to that point? What did you do or what didn't you do that allowed it to get there? Maybe there was nothing you could do, but we all play a part in our play created here on earth. It's like Shakespeare said, all the world's a play. Men and women are just merely players. So what part did you play in it? You must take the word blame out of your vocabulary when anything happens to you. Take the word blame out and ask yourself, how did I create this? What part have I played in this? Did I put myself in this position? Did I pick this person knowing that they weren't going to be faithful? Did I pick this person knowing I was going to get bored with them and I was going to be unfaithful? Why did I cheat on her? Why did I treat her badly? Why did she treat me badly? What did I do to bring this on? Because until you do that, you will never grow or improve. If it's always someone else's fault and you're the victim, what's their need? What need is there for you to change? There's not. But then you remain a victim and you continue to be hurt or broken and you never recover because it's always someone else's fault. To overcome these things in life, you have to find out what part you played in it. Get beyond blame, beyond it's all her fault. And I see many, many men doing this these days. They always want to blame the woman. That doesn't help you. Women are this, women are that. Yes, women have a nature, and men have a nature. You may never understand a woman, probably never will fully, because you will never be a woman. And they will never understand men fully. Quit expecting women to act like men. How boring would that be? If you want another man, then go out with another man. But if you want a woman, then accept women and accept women's nature. Quit trying to change them because they're not going to change. Change yourself, adapt yourself to the nature of women, and accept them for how they are. Now, that doesn't mean that you're supposed to tolerate disrespect and, intolerable behavior from a woman, but you need to set boundaries. What will you accept? What won't you accept? What are your boundaries? Does she know what they are? If a woman asks you, and this is what they do usually, and this is what you should wait for, what are we? Where are we going with this? She throws something out there like that, then she's wanting to be committed to you. She's wanting you to be her boyfriend or her fiance or husband, something like that. That's your time. You need to tell her what you expect from her. Do you want her on social media showing provocative pictures, photos? Do you want her communicating with ex-boyfriends? You have to tell her what you want. You have to tell her what your boundaries are. Do you want her talking on her phone and locking her phone when she's finished, hiding her information on her phone? Or do you want to have open phones to where she can look at yours or you can look at hers? Whatever you want, this is the time you need to tell her. Now, some women will say that's controlling, but it's not controlling at all. You're telling her, this is what I want from you if you want to be in a relationship with me. Or better yet, this is what I expect. If a girl, you don't have to say her, okay, if a girl wants to be in a relationship with me, this is what I desire from her. And she may say, oh, well, you're insecure, or you want to control me. No, it's not control at all. Control is after you're going out with her, or you guys are dating, or you're married, and you take the keys so she can't go somewhere. Or you take her money out of her purse so she can't spend anything. Or you cut up her credit cards. This is trying to control. Or you physically lock her in the house. Or you take away her phone. And nothing was ever said about any of these things before you started dating or before you got married. You get her mail and you open it up and you don't give it to her. These things are controlling behaviors. Setting boundaries of what you will accept and what you won't accept in a relationship is not controlling. She's free to do whatever she wants to. If you want to be my girlfriend, this is what I expect from you. And if you don't, you're free to go. It's as simple as that. But some women will call you controlling and insecure, small d energy, etc., etc., etc. But it's not at all. You are an individual, you're a man, and you have the right to say what you desire in a relationship, as well as she does. She could say, I don't want a man who cheats. I don't want a man who lies to me. This is what I expect from you. And in return, I will give you this, this, and this. These things usually aren't spoken of because the man or the woman is so in love that they just think things will just work out. And they don't. And then you run into these obstacles. She wants to go out with her girlfriends on the weekend, and you guys are living together, and this was never discussed. And you don't want to let her go. And she's like, well, I'm just going out with my friends. I personally would not want my woman going out with a bunch of girls drinking and partying, especially if they're single girls. Even if they're married, I wouldn't want that. Now, this should be discussed beforehand. If she accepts that, then she accepts it and she should abide by it. And if she breaks that, then it's up to you to decide what to do. Now, you can't stop her from going out because that would be controlling. Let's say you took her keys so she couldn't leave. That would be controlling. But there are consequences. When they make an agreement, it's like a contract, whether verbal or not, or there should be consequences if she breaks that agreement. And that's up to you to decide what consequences you should apply. It may be that you just distance yourself, do what they call a soft next. You just quit talking to her as much. You're not giving her the cold, silent treatment. You're just not opening up to her. You're busy, you're going to the gym. You start doing things more on your own. You pull away. But really, you're not doing that as a game. You do that because she stepped over your boundaries and you need to detach a little from her, because that may be the beginning of her going out the door, or you saying, hey, I think it's time we part. It could be. But with doing the soft next, if you withdraw a little bit, she may come around and realize she's made a mistake. But you have to, I hate to use this word because people look at it like, well, I don't care. You have to punish bad behavior, just like you would a child. It's the same principle. I've had a lot of kids and I've been in a lot of relationships, and I'm telling you, if you don't punish bad behavior, if there are no consequences when she steps over your boundaries, guess what? She'll step over another boundary, and she'll step farther and farther. You draw a line, you draw a line in the sand, she'll step over that one. And before you know it, she's humiliating you in public. She's trying to hit you. How do I say? It advances, it escalates is the word I'm looking for. It escalates, and it will become worse than you can imagine. Before you know it, she'll be kicking you out of your own house with the police and an ex parte. It can get to that if you don't check bad behavior immediately. What is she doing that for? Why? She's telling you to step up as a man. She's wanting you to step up and do something because she loves you. Step up and be a man. Be the man you were when I met you, because you wouldn't have tolerated that when you first met her. But now you've become attached, and you let things slide, you let things go, and then it gets to the point where it can get to the point where she's actually attacking you. I mean, this happens nowadays because women have little or no fear of a man retaliating, because they have the law and the court system behind them, depending on what kind of a situation you're in, if you're married to her and you've got kids. Or you can be one of these guys that just let her do whatever they want because it's cheaper to keep her, so you think. Well, financially, maybe it is, but for your manhood, it's not. But all this can be avoided if you check bad behavior when it starts. You have to check it immediately. When she disrespects you the very first time, you need to call her out on it and tell her you won't tolerate it. And then just walk away. Don't argue with her. You just walk away. You withdraw your attention. Attention is as the coin of gold for women. Now, when you withdraw it, like I said, it's not the cold treatment, like you're hurt or you're pouting. You just withdraw your attention and go on and get busy with your life. And possibly, I would say, what you need to do is get even more busy with your life, your dreams, your goals, and your purpose. The reason she probably started disrespecting you is because you have gotten off your purpose. And this is her way of pushing you to get back on to what you're supposed to be doing, what she wants you to do, even though there may be times when she says, can you just stay home today? Do you have to go to work? Or do you have to go out and have that meeting tonight? Can't you just stay home with me? Logically, you think, well, that's a good idea. I'll do that. And she'll respect me and love me more. The opposite is true. She will respect you less. Don't try to understand it. That's just the way it is. Try to understand yourself. To become unbroken, you need to look within, work on yourself. Go to the gym, read, study, dwell within your innermost being. What do you need to change? Not her. What do you need to change? Always the question asked, what do I need to change? How did I get myself into this? Have I devalued? Have I disrespected myself? Because no one can do to you anything unless you have first done it to yourself. If people disrespect you, you have first disrespected yourself. How do people talk to you? How do people treat you? How do you treat yourself? Always it begins within you, and then it's reflected back to you from people in your outer world. It's really just as simple as that. Okay, that's all I have time for today. Hope this helps. Take care. See you next time.